Greetings from a very, very warm Kansas City. This is Renee Benson with Sony Electronics at AV Renee KC, and you are listening to and watching the AV Life.
And I'm your host, Tim Van Wert, coming at you from a not so hot New Jersey. And you are watching and listening to the AV Life. All right. So yeah, it is a bit of a cooler day here in New Jersey, and I'm sorry for those of you all who are having to deal with the normal heat and humidity of summer. So, how are you doing here, Renee?
Doing good, doing good. We are actually technically off this week.
Oh yes, it is the
So,
Sony summer break.
although I'm calling you from a parking lot, I just left an event with a customer. So, I'm mostly off. I'm mostly trying to follow the rules, but um, I'm doing well. I'm enjoying
Good.
some time cleaning up and spring cleaning in the summer, and hopefully going to enjoy some sun and not fry to death this week. But yeah, doing well, doing well.
Good. We missed you last week. We're glad you're back with us this week.
I was out actually close to Brittany. I was out in the Denver area for just a
Yeah.
quick day or two. Yep. So
And
nice.
just so I'll bring her in now. Our guest this week is Brittney Grant from Ames Community College and from HETMA as well. So welcome to the show, Brittney.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Happy to be here.
How are you doing tonight?
It is a very warm day, and I think we're actually sitting in the middle of a rainstorm right now. So it was
Oh,
about uh, 85 earlier and overcast. And so I just checked it, and yeah, we got a big old storm rolling over us. So
all right. Well, hopefully
maybe
that'll
some
break.
thundering happening.
Nice. Well, hopefully that'll break the heat for you a little bit too. So,
Hopefully.
yeah, for our listening audience, before we get in here, because this is your first time on the AV Life, so introduce
Welcome.
yourself. Yes, welcome, and introduce yourself to our listening and watching audience.
I am Brittney Grant, and I have been with Ames for I want to say almost. I think we're coming up on 3 years. That feels right.
Mm,
Um, And before that, I was a student at Ames and was able to work with the facilities and operations team during my final year of college um, at that time, and was able to watch the building that I now currently work in go
mm,
up and get built. So that's a blessing and a curse if you've heard me talk about this building.
mhm.
Um, but I am also part of HETMA and have been for the last 2.5 years, and have gotten really, really involved. And I am currently the approved program chair.
Yes, you are.
Yay.
And the newly brought in approved chair. So,
Yes, and hit
um,
the ground running.
yes. Well, that position, I will give it to you, Brittany, because like that is a non-stop position. Like that is, there's always
Yep.
new products coming in and always things happening. So,
Everyone's juggling, and it depends on who gets shipped when and where, and how many
mhm,
people are demoing what, and how intense is the demo. And yep, that's
mhm.
going to be a lot of communication with people.
Yes, it will be. But I'm sure you're going to do great with it this upcoming year. So, excuse me. Yeah, fingers crossed. um, so welcome to the AV life. Yeah, so well, first, because I know y'all were at the Chicago Roadshow for HETMA. Speaking of, so some quick thoughts regarding that, and I know you had to make some last minute changes because of also inclement weather.
Yes.
But yeah, you know what? Let me before I go to Brittany, I'm going to go to Renee because I want to see it from the vendor's point of view, and then we'll go from there. So Renee, go ahead. What were your thoughts of the roadshow?
You know what? Well, it was actually funny because in the middle of the night, I had this bright light in my hotel room, and I thought, "Oh my gosh, what's going on?" And then the loud crush of the thunder, and I thought, "Oh my, we are going to be outside." And I think people were setting up tonight, and I was like,
Hmm.
"Oh my, electronics rainstorm. Oh my." Um, but when I got there, I was very happily surprised to see that they were inside. Everything had obviously moved inside. The tent had got some flooding inside of it and that sort of thing. So, but man, tell you what, if you didn't know, you didn't know, because they had everything lined up. The tables were ready to go. Got us the electricity we needed. It was very well organized with an entrance where everybody was greeted with HETMA M&Ms. I will even say those were right there, front and center. I kept stealing all day.
I have the feeling those are going to be an ongoing thing at any HETMA event, since Troy brought them at Infocom.
Well,
I think as long as Troy is there, they'll be there. But
yeah, well,
that might be the caveat at this point.
Well, I do have the M&Ms. I do have an M&M store in Times Square here in the New York, New Jersey area, so I could probably get them if I needed them.
They are specially ordered, and Troy, from what I hear, has a rep now with
Oh.
M&M. So just a little, heard a little inside.
Oh, I'll have to.
That's awesome.
I've got the AVIT summit coming up in a couple weeks. Maybe I should talk to Troy about that.
Yeah.
So
But
it
anyway.
was good. It was really good. I thought it was, spacious enough that nobody felt cramped or crowded. It was a big room, so people kind of wandered around. But we had really, really quality conversations. So it didn't matter if it was maybe less people than what everybody thought it might be. It was very quality. People spent good amount of time at our booth, watching our camera demo, hearing about our Bravia displays. And it was still, we could still go outside for lunch and for the happy hour, and we were still able to, see the beautiful scenery that is, that university is just really on some gorgeous property. So if anybody's ever up in the area, they should go check it out. But it was really good. I know I've got my coworker who handles kind of that territory, and another coworker that handles Kentucky even met up with, there was some people moving in the higher ed community that didn't really announce it, but announced it there. And so they got to meet their new rep and they got to meet their new people. It was all about being in the right time at the right place for us. And then at the end of the night, I won the cornhole competition and I won the cornhole boards.
And I was so when I saw that picture, I was so proud. Like,
I was like, and then I was like, oh wait a minute, I can't put this on a plane. So it's I can't remember who took them. Dustin.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
I think they went with somebody else.
Okay.
I think Dustin was supposed to grab a set, but I don't think he did.
Okay. Well, somebody who was driving, who wanted a set, who is involved with HETMA, got a set. So it all worked out great. But it was a really nice event. I mean, I felt bad that it seemed like there was probably a lot of scrambling, but on the vendor side, I didn't see the stress and the worry. Like whatever the HETMA people did behind the scenes covered it enough to where it worked out great. I mean, I got the message first thing in the morning, because I was in my hotel room kind of going, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Like, should I stop and buy some rain boots, to go do this show?
We should have had galoshes.
But it all worked out good. And whatever you guys did to make it come together, I give you a lot of credit. Kudos to the whole team that put that together, because I'm sure moving it like that in the last minute wasn't easy. So it was a great show for us. I definitely reported back to my powers that be that like this is just a thing we have to be at. And Brittney and I were talking, that's the closest one that falls into my territory. So that's why I drove over to kind of go be a part of it. But we were talking, I'm like, I'd really like to get one out in Denver, right? I mean, she might be you're a little far north, and there's some other universities that buy from us that are a little far south. I was like, if we can come put some plans together, I would love to do something in my territory too. So I'd love to be I'd love to be a part of helping with one, in the future. So from my perspective, you guys knocked it out of the park, even against all Mother Nature had thrown at you. And all that jazz. So
awesome.
Nothing but 10 stars there.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, I was gonna say, so go ahead, Brittney. Let's fill it in here.
I was like, I'm not gonna expose all of the sausage being made, but we did have a pig roast. So there is
Yeah.
at least some of the sausage being made. Yeah, we were all scrambling a little bit, getting everything taken care of, and yeah, there was a little bit of like I felt like I wasn't at full capacity. Well, I definitely wasn't at full capacity, but I just found out that I was very, very anemic, and so we were very lucky that I was more vertical than not vertical. So we're working through it. I'm talking with the um I'm talking with my doctors. We're trying to figure all that out, but everything we're okay. I haven't passed out yet. We're still vertical, still doing stuff, but yeah. So I didn't feel like I could help out and step in as much as I wanted to, but I'm really glad to hear from the vendor side that we pulled it off and it looked smoother than I think we felt.
Yeah, well, it did. It looked, I mean, it for us, and I know we always have the little bit of downtime when people are leaving out for lunch or, whatever.
Right.
And you can talk to the other vendors and I obviously, friends in the industry that you go say hi to when you see each other at these kind of events. And everybody was kind of in the same consensus, that this was good quality conversations that people were having. These people weren't coming through because they were taking your free pen. They were there to have conversations. They were there because to give us feedback. We had a couple customers that came through from Indiana that came through. So just want to give you some feedback on this camera. And it was perfect timing because we had just done a firmware upgrade and we're like, hey, how about this for feedback? We just
This
did an
should
upgrade
help.
to help you with that. So, there was a few things like that. That was like, oh, thank goodness we were there to talk to them about that. So
Yeah,
overall,
and that was one of the things I heard a lot of is that there was maybe not as many people as we thought were going to show up, but we definitely had some really, really good in-depth conversations with from on all sides. And so I was, very,
and I'm
very
still,
glad to be there and help out.
yeah, and I'm still under I very much believe this, but it is really quality over quantity, right?
Yeah.
I'd rather have 20 great conversations than 100 that got you nowhere, right?
Right.
So,
Right.
And I feel like, that's always been a HETMA Roadshow thing is that, because you're getting the actual higher ed folks that are making decisions and that can actually give you like the information you're looking for. Like, it's not like you just got some rando who's just wandering the floor. Like, these are people that have made that what's the word I'm looking for? Like pilgrimage, as it were, to be there. So there's incentive to get the questions answered and to really, find something that's worthwhile. So
well, and I
and as
even
for the
had
Denver one, we're definitely we're talking about it, but we definitely need some more Colorado folk to join up and join in because I'm a little north. I think we have maybe one or two more, but Colorado is definitely one where we need to start branching out. I don't know if we need to get with partner up with somebody else that's more in the Denver area that already has maybe a road show or a different thing. Like I know there's a few integrators that do those type of things in different areas, and so that might be a good option, but that does mean we have to partner a little more.
There are some manufacturers that are in that area too that I'm aware of, and I know you're aware of, Brittney. And if they would get their act together and sponsor HETMA, that might be another thing for them. But
I might be able to twist a few arms at this point. But
I've been trying to twist arms for years.
When I was out there last week, Brittney, I did go to dinner with a couple of gentlemen that I had told them about the event. I think they saw it on my LinkedIn and asked me about it. And I said, well, I was telling Brittney from Ames that we need to get it here. And we're trying to think of like, DU or, where can we do it that would be maybe somewhere central. And they're like, well, we have some ties there at DU. I'm like, well, maybe we need to all.
We can coordinate it all together.
Yes.
It's going to be a much more bigger team effort than just a HETMA.
Yeah. But, like you said, Tim, that's why I wanted to go be a part of this show because I had never been to a HETMA Road show, but I hear all the positive feedback afterwards. And so I was really glad to be there. And then after I put my post on LinkedIn, actually a customer of mine from Southern Missouri messaged me. He's like, all right, you've talked about this HETMA thing a couple of times. He's like, what is the situation? So it was enough to where, luckily I had just got like a little write-up from, I think it was Annie that sent it to me, but I had just gotten a little write up on HETMA. I'm like, well, hold on, let me just send you this email on behalf of
Yeah,
HETMA.
that was from Annie. Yeah, that was from,
Yeah,
I remember that conversation happening. See, and this is the plus part to being on hetma.org, and being part of the community for both the manufacturer and for our higher ed partners, is that these conversations happen. You can
yeah.
get Annie is part of the higher ed community. She's the secretary
Mhm.
for HETMA, and she had a letter already drafted for explaining what HETMA is. So the resources are there. So, and it's free to join, which is also nice.
And the customer who asked me happened to be one of those schools that didn't have funding to send him this year to Infocom.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
if we can get a roadshow closer to where you could get to,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of manufacturers there. I mean, not that it's an Infocom by any means, but it's still, it brings some of your big ones that were close with the higher ed vertical close to you.
Yeah.
So
And
hopefully that grows
that's
over the years.
yeah, and I think
Yeah.
that's why Arizona was such a big success, is specifically for that reason. Is that yes, you could probably get to Vegas from Arizona. It wouldn't be a terrible drive,
Yeah.
but maybe for some of the smaller colleges and universities, like, it's hard to leave the state. So if you bring it to them,
Right.
if you build it, they will come. It's like, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad it went very well, and I think HETMA, I'm a little biased, but I think we're on to something here, and we're getting better at this with every time we have one. Doing one of the early road shows myself, I know how chaotic it can be, and now it's getting easier and smoother, as it were, weather permitting. To do these sort of things. So we're looking forward to having other stops, along the way, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see where we go. And speaking of HETMA and us growing our locations and our numbers and all that, as part of our Road to 10K initiative this year, we are doing a theme per month, and we talked about this a little bit last week when we had Tammy Fuquay on the show, and we have a theme for the month of July called True North, and it's professional development, how your path, and keeping your eyes on a goal and keeping yourself, going in a professional way. And how you're doing that. And we talked a lot about that last week. We're going to continue that conversation, which just by happenstance, Renee was not here last week, and Brittney as our guest this week. We could continue the conversation a little bit, about like how I mean, maybe for someone like myself, like, I know where my path is going now. Like, I've been in higher ed for nearly, it'll be 15 years this January that I've been in
Wow.
higher ed. So I know I want to stay here. I know I have my trajectory on, like, where I'm going. I have my true north. I talked about it last week. So if you want to go back to the last episode and listen, you can go there. But like Renee, for someone like yourself as well, who's been in for quite a few years, I'm sorry, I mean that in a
I know, it's all fine. It's true.
sorry, I did. Sorry, that came off completely wrong, and I'm
No, you're
sorry, Renee.
fine.
You're a seasoned veteran in AV. So if someone was looking for mentorship, as far as like, where do I go, how do I set that trajectory, like, what would be some things that you could pass along to that individual?
You know, and I feel like I've tried to help a few along the way, but
Mm-hmm.
I think that, a lot of people move around in our industry, whether it be they're an end user and then they're a distributor, or then they're a manufacturer, or then they're an integrator, or that sort of thing. A lot of people wear different hats before they find what that true north might be. I mean, I know I did that. Some people jump right in. I mean, I've got some of my engineers that are younger that jumped right in, and this is where they want to be forever, right? So, I mean, you just don't know. But I think that uh, it used to be that you got into a position and that's just what you did. everybody stayed in a job for 30 years or 20 years, and some people
Yeah.
still do that. And now I feel like there's some movement after a few years when somebody says, well, I might not want this anymore. I might want to go to this side of things. And I don't
Right.
think there's anything wrong with that. I think that you always want to be learning. Might you regret that? Might you make a move and go, man, I missed that? But if you don't burn any bridges and you keep your integrity and your word and all the things, you can move around and you can go back or you can go forward. And I think that feeling out what's the best fit for you, right? I think that's the key. And if it doesn't feel right, and if it feels like something just isn't jiving, it might be time for you to maybe ask around. There's plenty of us in the industry that have been around for a minute that would give advice or chat with you about what life is like on this side of the house or this or that sort of thing. So um, I think always keep an open mind too. Grass isn't always greener, right? If you're not liking something, it's not always greener. But I think keeping communication, keeping industry friends, attending events such as the one we were just at with the HETMA Roadshow, and keeping dialogue with people, ask questions. Um, I feel like I'm kind of in the path now where I've been looking to be, and this is where I'd like to be, and until I retire. Um, as a matter of fact, I think at my last review they said, "So, do you see yourself moving to management or this?" And I'm like, "Not yet. I don't want to be in management yet."
I
Now,
was to say you actually answered the question I was going to ask you if you saw
yeah,
yourself moving.
I don't, because I right now am. I've been in this territory for a very long time. I consider my customers my friends, and I consider myself somebody who can help them with issues they have, with finding solutions um, for their needs, and I like that. And I work just as close with my end user customers as I do my integrator partners, right? And then working with my industry alliance partners. I might be on the road next week with my peerless rep, and I can talk displays and she can talk mounts, right? So and having that, and kind of coming full circle with a solution for our customers, I like that. And I sometimes wonder, my boss, it's like, does he miss that? Sometimes I think he does, because he's doing some of the other, administrative stuff that goes with being a manager. I don't want that yet. Am I going to want that in 5 or 10 years? Maybe. But the good news is I guess as long as I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing and doing a good job, I'm going to stay kind of where I'm at right now. So, and especially at a good company and good product and just a great place to work. So, but I also am not going to get too comfortable. Like, I'm not going to just start coasting, because I'm always, I guess it's part of being a salesperson, I'm always looking to do better or beat myself um, better than I did last year this time, or whatever the case may be. So I feel like I had a great mentor when I was early in the industry. He had retired from military, he had retired from Sprint. He didn't even have to work. He just wanted to work, right? So he was just throwing all the advice that anybody ever wanted or didn't want. And it was just great. And I learned so much from him. And it's almost like it was yesterday, but it wasn't. It was a long time, it was 17 years ago. But it I heard what he said, and I've brought so much with what he said with me along my journey. And I try to share those things, and I think Brett Yinser, when she had me on her podcast, was like, "What's the best piece of advice you ever had?" And I'm like, "It's like he just told me last week," because I just, I took his mentorship very seriously, and I wish I could get in touch with him now, because I would hope that he would be proud of me, because I'm trying to follow the path that he kind of led for me. So I think that that's the other thing too about being a mentor, is laying the advice and the groundwork and giving that platform, and go butterfly, go be free, and hoping that people follow that, and hoping that they're successful even when you don't see them again in 15 or 20 years. But I think we probably all have that one person, that one or two people that did that for us early on, right?
Yeah,
for sure.
so Yeah. Oh, that was great. That was great, Renee. Thank you for that. That was well said.
So
uh,
if Lynn Monroe is still listening, you've been my true north.
See, and that's it. It's
Hmm.
sometimes it's a person, sometimes it's
Yep.
an idea. Like so,
Yep.
it's good to have that to keep us going. Um, and I my brain with this theme has been. I have to put this out there because if I don't put this out there now, I'm gonna forget. And I think I enjoyed this thought. From the movie Frozen 2, there's an 80s ballad or it's supposed to be like an 80s rock ballad kind of song. It's called Lost in the Woods. And it's Kristoff talking about that, like Anna is his like true north, and
Oh yeah.
he's lost in the woods without her. And like seriously, because it's that one line he says, like and I found my one true north, and it's her, and it's just so
Aw.
it's supposed to, yeah, it's a cute
Yeah.
romantic ideal, but and I know it doesn't wholly apply here, but it does at the same time. It's like it's so I had to put that out there because it's been like eating at me for the last couple of weeks that I need to put it out there because some other Disney fanatic out there is gonna go, damn it, Tim, now it's in my head. And it's
It was already there.
okay, well there you go, Brittany.
See what you did there?
Yeah.
I also wasn't admitting to it yet,
Yeah,
but
see, yeah.
yeah.
It was there all last episode, and I was and like leading into the preparation for last episode too. So yeah. Um but Brittany, as someone who's younger into the AV industry, how have you kind of prepared yourself? Like, I mean, and based on our conversations in the past, like I know you've got other history behind you that I guess you could say is even AV adjacent
Yeah.
to be able to. So how have you kind of guided yourself, and if you have a mentor you want to talk about as well, like we could go down that road too. So
Yeah, no, I it's one of those where again, AV finds you. It's
yep.
I there's I'm actually really glad that we are starting in a sense younger. So when we did the challenge
Hmm.
over Infocom, and we had the high school students and the college kids as well as us, and all three of us doing it. I was really impressed by how close they were to the
Hmm.
end with us.
Oh yeah.
But that's going a little off topic. But they yeah, it's certain aspects of AV definitely took hold early on for me, and it was I I don't know how to put this, but I definitely see myself as more in the stage manager aspect of being
Hmm.
able to control said chaos and coordinate the chaos. I think is another one. But it's amazing how early in a sense that can take hold. But I will say my one mentor, his name is Dave Shapensky, and he was one of like the original IT guys, especially for Banner. So like he helped build like the infrastructure of Banner and the IT behind all of that. Um, and so he did radio and just kind of all sorts of other things. And he is not college learned, as he says. So he does not have a college degree, but he definitely teaches, and he teaches well for the most part. He does the watch how I do it kind of a thing, and then you gotta make sure you stay on top of what he's doing. And sometimes your lessons are just following Dave around the stage, and because he sets up audio for different bands, different things. But he's also the TD down at our local Roadhouse down here in Greeley. And so for now, he keeps talking about retirement, but that man will never be able to step away from the audio industry, and he will always have a pulse on it in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, he definitely took me under his wing as a young high school student, and then came through and um, uh, just kind of at certain times dragged me along and said, no, you're gonna do this thing. And it was at the church that we both attended, and I sat at the light board for 7 years and just hit the go button. Okay, maybe it wasn't 7 years, it was maybe 4, but still sat at that light board and just hit go and didn't program, didn't anything. I just was the go button and did it for all the services, and that's what I did. And then finally he was like, I need you back here. And I was like, no, I can't. I don't know how to do it. And he was like, I'm going to teach you. I'm not just going to throw you back there. So it took some forcing and some kicking and screaming on my part, and I did that and got to know how to direct and produce a service, so to speak. And so by the end of it, I was, in a sense, because of the way that we had things programmed, I was doing lights, running slides, calling the camera shots, as well as directing the entire service. So and then I stepped away from that and went into more theater style things, and then moved into higher ed. So lots and lots, and kind of found my little niche within all of that. Niche. There you go.
Either way.
One of those words. And so yeah, I don't know exactly where my true north is, but I know that it will always have something to do with people and AV.
There you go.
Not sure how that's gonna look. And the combination of the both of those, and being able to have the best event, the best experience, the best thing that I'm able to provide. And again, I don't know what that's going to look like in the future, but I do know that I won't be able to half-ass it. So it's just I can try, but it's not it's I'm not good at that part. I'm not good at reining it in.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good quality.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, got a full asset,
It's the only way I know how to do it.
That's awesome.
Very cool. That's awesome. So yeah, it's we have talked a lot over the years about how like a lot of us have just kind of fallen into the industry, and I do agree that it's good to see. I think it's very applicable to talk about the what they're doing at next level, and that high school group was definitely impressive. Like that, not putting down George and his crew from although George did get lost at the convention center, but
his own event,
he got lost, but that's a whole nother story. But like it's good to see that we're intentionally trying to lead the future to be in our industry. It's like there are lots of opportunities out there, and I was talking to this with another colleague, and it's like, even if it's as much as just getting involved with your local convention center, because New Jersey has like 4 of them. Like, there's like 4 major convention centers in our state. Actually, there's more than that, but there's 4 that come to mind real quick. They may have in-house teams that need AV professionals. So if you're just looking to get your feet wet at a young age as a part-time job, there might be night events, there could be day events, just things like that, or your local DJ. I think DJing as a thing has also kind of lost a little bit of its traction. I think people still want DJs at weddings and things like that, but now you get a Bluetooth speaker and your phone, and you've covered like half of those other events. But
it's that personality. You gotta. It's
right.
that presence. It's the coordination of what to do next.
Right, exactly. So, there are opportunities out there and the guidance. So we need more mentors. We need if you're sitting here and you're listening to this podcast, you're like, I feel like I need to do more. This is the calling. This is me telling you should get involved. Um
Just do it.
Just
Just
do
do
it.
it.
Find a group, if you're higher ed, come to HETMA. Actually, and I found out just the other day too that there are mentors for the Prism Scholarship who aren't in higher ed, because
Anymore.
anymore. Sorry, anymore. Sorry, let me clarify that. Anymore. So, like, there's opportunities out there to mentor the next generation, to give them, and then there's Wave It, there's, just to name another, there's ETC for another, that's another higher ed group. Wherever you can find, there's opportunity there to help out. There's Facebook groups for CTS people. So if like people who are looking to get their CTS. So if you want to help somebody with getting their CTS, there might be opportunities through there as well. So like a little bit of research, help it, be that person for somebody,
Pass your knowledge on, because there are
Yeah.
Yep.
a lot of the people that are in those long-term jobs that we don't think about, like people moving every few years. There are people that have been in the same job for the last 10,
Yep.
20,
Mhm.
30,
Yep.
35 years. And that knowledge needs to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Don't
Pass
just
it
let it go
down.
to the void. Don't die
Right.
with it. For
Oh,
goodness sake,
it's
pass it
actually
on.
it's actually, yeah, it's interesting you say that, Brittany, because for those who may not have known, or if we're not friends on Facebook, because I didn't make a really big deal out of it. A coworker of mine at Rutgers when I was down in New Brunswick, a 20-year veteran of higher ed AV tech, he had passed away. And he's the guy that like I learned from. Like I learned some things when I was at Fairleigh Dickinson, but I learned my craft when whoa.
Oh
And
no.
we just abruptly lost Renee. I learned my craft from Steve. Steve was my guy. Like he was the first guy. I lost my mouse. Here we go. Steve was my guy. Like he was my work brother. He was, I went for my interview and he was, me and him started causing trouble from the beginning. Like, so, and, so he had that he was that wealth of knowledge, and he did pass it along.
Right.
He passed it along to me. He passed it along to every student worker that he came through under his wing. And it showed too by the kids, and I'm saying kids because they were like 20 years old. Some of the
Right.
students that we still had showed up to his wake, and they were
Oh.
there because, that's the impact he had. It's
great.
so, yeah. So like be that individual. Like there are the kids that want to, and I say kids, but
Yep.
the next generation want to learn.
Yes.
There are ones that want to learn and they want to know how to do it right. And a lot of the stuff that I've picked up over the years is A, through him, or B, through my own experience. So it's like that experience is priceless, it's like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, we need that because when they sign up to go to college, I don't think you sign up and go, I want to get a degree in being an AV project manager or an AV programmer. Like, we don't sign up for those kind of classes, right? We have to bring
Right.
them in and show them that this is something you can make a career out of, and
Right.
it could be fun, and you benefit a lot of people by doing what we do.
Right. And then you guide them into saying, okay, well, if you want to be a programmer, take these computer science classes, because
Yeah.
at least you'll get and nowadays, like it's more about JavaScript and Python and things like that. So it's more generalized programming knowledge than it is just like something like from Crestron or something like that. Like, and I know they're moving in that direction too, but I just popped into my head. I apologize to Crestron for that a little bit. just a little bit.
They're still hanging on.
They're still hanging on, yeah. So, but like that's where that mentorship comes from. But yes, keep passing that along. Pass along what you've learned. So
Absolutely.
um, so yeah.
Famous words of James King: "Always be learning."
Always be learning. Yes,
Yep.
yes.
And that also goes in with the always be teaching, because you never know who's learning as you're doing to a
Right.
certain extent.
That's true. You never know.
I'm not saying always
Right.
be on a soapbox. That's not.
Yeah.
I lived
No.
both. I grew up with two teachers.
Mhm.
My dad and my stepmom were both retired as teachers, and so I very much know the rules of three. You have to say something 3 different times to make sure it gets into the student's head, and that is one of my favorite things, to sit there and watch both of them teacher each other.
Mhm.
You're like, oh, all right, well that was number 4.
Yeah. Something didn't
I gotta
work
go,
there.
guys.
Yep.
That's funny.
We're all getting upset, and I'm not even involved in this conversation.
Yeah.
But no, it's it always be learning, always be
And
aware of teaching opportunities.
for those who are baseball people, and it's funny because I was actually just having this conversation with my son today, because now we're moving into fall ball, so fall baseball, and actually we have a tournament coming up in August, but he had hit a pop up, and he thought it was going to be caught, so he stopped running to first base, and it dropped. And I'm like, you got to run it out. You have to run it out. Always run it out. But the reason I bring this up is because I had seen a video online when we got home. Now, I don't know if this is my phone listening to me, because we've had that conversation here too. But a video popped up from a college baseball scout who had gone to a high school game to go see a player that was there. He hit a blooper grounder back to the pitcher, and he didn't even make it to first base. He just stopped, and the pitcher threw him out at first. But the scout said, he's like, I came here to see that guy, and I was planning on timing him on his speed on that one run, and he never went. So he's like, I didn't get the opportunity to
Don't have the numbers.
time, so I couldn't get his speed on that. So, and he's like, I don't have time to stick around here and do this again. So he missed out.
Opportunity.
He missed out on his opportunity because he didn't know, because you never know who's watching. Like, you never know who's there. So yeah, like, you always have to be ready to teach and be ready to, give it your all. Don't half-ass it, because you don't know. Yeah, there you go. You don't know who's watching.
That is true.
For better or for worse, you're just gonna
That's
all ends of the extreme. Either
Yep.
you're all in or you're all out.
Yep.
Like,
and that goes
full
in.
send.
Yeah, and that goes into a lot of pieces in life. It's not just our professional. It's like in parental things too. Is that you sometimes you kind of realize, oh, I got another pair of ears listening, or another pair of eyes watching. It's like, oh yeah, there's a whole country song about that too. But I'm not going to go down that road too. So, but because I'd have to go look it up and all that. I don't know it off the top of my head, but
I've been watching you. I can't remember who it's by, but yeah.
It's not Trace Adkins, is it?
Is
it?
I think it is a Trace Adkins.
Okay, there you go. So there. All right, thank you.
Welcome.
But yeah, if you've never heard that song, go listen to it if you're a parent, and then you'll, especially if you got parents of little ones, you'll get it. But yeah, it applies in a lot of pieces of our life. But you know what? I think we're going to start wrapping it up. I think this is I think we're at a good spot here. We're at about 45 minutes. So I think we will start doing that. Any parting thoughts for our folks here before we say goodnight? or good day or good morning, whatever. Rodney
Rodney
Atkins.
Atkins. Thank you.
Thank
I was
you.
like, I was Trace Atkins wasn't right. I was
Yeah.
There's my parting thoughts.
There
No,
you go.
I think you're right. I think that's a good way to end it too. Is, yeah, whether it be younger folks in our industry or younger folks just watching you in general. I think that's the key is always be. One of the other things he told me is like you always be training your replacement,
Mm,
right? Like, so I don't necessarily want anybody replacing me right now, but if I move on or if I do something else, hopefully that you've mentored somebody else enough behind you that they could come in and stuff. So, but
right.
I just think, and also don't be afraid to reach out to folks and ask them, I'm looking for a mentor, ask.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, I'd really like somebody that I can call with questions. I mean, I did that when I started at Sony. Like, I had a couple people that I knew had been there a long time. Like, I really need some help here, right? There's a huge company. I have a lot to learn. Can I use you as can you be my go-to, right? That I can call for questions. And I was so lucky that I do have a handful of those and I use them still. I've been here 2.5 years. I still use them um, just don't be afraid to ask the questions and um, always be learning and asking
Mm-hmm.
questions and enjoy what you do. I truly believe that um, there's a lot of us in this industry that truly enjoy what we're doing. And, we're really lucky, I feel like, to like look for all of you guys in the higher ed space. Like, you are helping our generation, our future generations learn and do it in a way where they're using technology. And I mean, it's so cool what you guys are doing for our younger generation. So kudos to you guys for that. But just, I think, always be enjoying what you're doing. If you're not
Mm-hmm.
enjoying it, then it probably isn't a good fit for you, right? And maybe,
Right.
you got tired of hitting the green button, the go button,
Mm.
go to the next thing, right?
Yeah.
But eventually
I may
things,
not have gotten tired of it, but he got
yeah.
tired of leaving me on it.
Yeah.
But eventually it leads to other things, right? Because how
Yeah.
many stories are like that in this industry that they started doing something like that, or like Tim said, DJing or in a band. I mean, I think of how many events I've been to where they've got a band on stage and it's just a bunch of the AV guys, and one does drums and one is on a bass guitar, and one is singing. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, we have a lot of really talented folks that started, in other places.
Mm-hmm.
So just be open-minded for that journey.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Brittany, anything from you too? I mean, you already give us a lot tonight. So,
Yeah. It's just one foot in front of the other. As much as I need to take this own advice, and thank you, Renee, for saying it, ask for help. That is that is definitely in every aspect of my life right now is one of those where I need to remember that there are people out there that are willing to not only turn around and reach the hand out and pull you up, but there's ones next to you that are going to put their hand on your side and say, "You got this." And there's somebody coming from behind saying, "Get up and over that hill."
Yep.
And you're
That's
like, it does not matter. You are surrounded by people who, in one way or another, are there for you.
mhm, perfect.
agreed.
And I think that is a perfect way of ending it. So, Brittany, thank you so much for joining us here tonight.
Thanks for
Thank you.
having me. It was fun.
It was great. Yeah, it was great having you here. Renee, pleasure as always. Thank you very much. And glad you were able to break away to get to us here tonight. So,
Yeah.
and yeah, to our listening audience, thank you so much for chiming in. We've got another great show coming up for you, and we're just gonna keep coming out with episodes because I got stuff that's stacked up. So the avalanche continues. Just keep listening, keep watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow on YouTube, and we'll keep bringing it out to you. So thanks for listening, and as always, until our next adventure.